Hello and welcome to the Wisdom Audio Online Learning Series. Today we're going to teach you how to set up a 7.2 system with the Wisdom Audio System Controller SC2 and SC3. I want to remind you that you can always check out wisdomaudio.com for other information on all of our products. For example, the system controllers under electronics, you just click over to SC3. This gives you a great shot of the gallery. There's pictures of the unit as well as other resources, info sheet. We've got current draw BTU information, RS-232 control information, and of course the owner's manual. So let's hop right in. We've already talked about how to log into your system controller, so I'm assuming you're already logged in. This particular unit is an SC3. It has 16 input channels and it has 32 output channels. The thing to remember about a SC3 and an SC2 is they both have 16 Dirac channels. So even though the SC3 has 32 outputs, it only has 16 Dirac channels for calibration. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up our zones. This particular system only has one zone, but you still have to create the zone. So I'm going to create this zone. I'm going to rename it Theater and save our changes. And then we're going to click on the input right below that right here, and that's going to take us to the next page, which is really convenient rather than even going top to bottom here. The other thing you want to remember is that both system controllers are set up from left to right. So you just follow through the tabs up top here, and it will automatically take you to the next section. Now, we've got a pre-pro that has 7 outputs for our mains and surrounds, plus it has 1 subwoofer output. So we need to create 8 inputs. So I'm just going to click this up to 8 and create our inputs. Now what's really nice about this is even though we've got a lot of these pre-labeled, you can call them anything you want. And a lot of times that's very helpful if you've got a room where, or multiple rooms in a system, and you need to name things differently. For example, with a 7-channel system, you're going to have side surrounds and rear surrounds. Well, if you look at our drop down on here, there's surround, there's side, and then there's rear surrounds. So literally the best thing for you to do is just name the speakers what they are. So I'm going to call this the right side channel. I'm going to call this one the left side channel. I'm going to call this one the left rear surround. And I'm going to call this one the right rear surround. And finally, I'm going to call this one the subwoofer. The other thing that's important to remember is these will be abbreviated when you get to the speaker testing tab, and they will come up as RSC, LSC. So if you said right channel, left channel, or right surround, or rear surround, they would both come up as RS. So it's important to abbreviate so that you know that they're going to be easy to remember when you get there. So I'm going to save my changes, and then I'm going to click on the Channels tab right down here. That's going to take me to my next step. Both the SC2 and SC3 allow you to just simply import your channels from the inputs. I'm going to save this and then walk through this. When it says channels, what that really means, that's your Dirac channels. So Dirac can calibrate, again, up to 16 channels on both the SC2 and the SC3. So here we have our left in, left from our left source, our right, center, center, and we've got our right side channel, our left side channel, left rear surround, right rear surround, and we've got our subwoofer. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is a 7.2 system, so we're actually going to have 2 subwoofers in this particular system. So what I'll need to do is add another subwoofer, and I'm going to have to name these differently. So I've got subwoofer 2 And up here, I'm going to name this one subwoofer 1. Now you could call it subwoofer left, subwoofer right, subwoofer front, subwoofer rear. You can call it whatever you'd like, just to make sure that it's easy for you to remember. And then down here, I'm just going to click on this because we're taking our input source from our subwoofer, and we're going to have 2 subwoofer outputs. Another thing you always want to remember is even if your preamp or your processor has 2 or more subwoofer outputs built in, you only want to use 1 subwoofer output coming into the system controller and let the system controller split that signal to multiple subwoofers. And the reason that we do that is for delay. It's much easier to get your delays and get phasing proper when it's all done inside the system controller. So here we are. We're going to save those changes, and I'm going to click on the speakers page right here. You can click up here to go back and forth, or it's nice because it's right on the bottom of each tab. So now I've got 9 speakers, so 7 main speakers and 2 subwoofers. So I need to add 9 speakers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've added my 9 speakers, and at this point I'm going to go in and I'm going to name my speakers just like we did on the last tab. Left, right, center, left side, channel, right side channel, left rear surround, right rear surround, subwoofer 1, subwoofer 2. In this case, our speakers, this is going to be an inside system, so this is going to be a little bit easier. We're going to use P6Is for our left channel and a P6I for the right channel. For our center channel, this one we're going to use a P4I for the center channel. Side channels are all going to be P4Is. Rear surround channels are also going to be P4Is. And our subwoofers we're going to use will be the S90. We've got 2 S90s in the system. So we add those in. Now we're going to go through and we're going to take all of our input channels, and those should all line right up with our speaker name. Input channel left, input channel right, input channel center, left side channel, right side channel, left rear surround, right rear surround, subwoofer 1, and subwoofer 2. On our output ports, we're just going to go right down the line. This is our XLR output, so we've got 1, 2, 3, output 4, output 5. Now you can do these, you can go left to right and do each channel individually, or you could just go up and down. It doesn't really matter which way you do it. Whatever way you're more comfortable with, or whichever way is the easiest way for you to do it. So right there we've got all of our speakers loaded in. I'm going to save those changes. Now we're going to move into our speaker testing phase, and what's great about this is at this point, if your preamp is hooked in and you want to play a DVD or something just to test sound, you can run the system right now and it will play music. We get to speaker testing tabs, and here's where I said where you have all the abbreviations. You have your left, right, center, left side channel, right side channel, left rear surround, right rear surround, sub 1, sub 2. Now here I can test for pink noise, and I can ping all of my speakers, my subs, each one of my channels, just to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. There's additional information up top here that we've discussed in earlier videos about what each one of these does. I'm going to return back to normal operation after I've confirmed that all my speakers are playing that they should. Always remember before you leave this tab to enable all. Otherwise, your speakers will the only ones that would play are the green ones. So you have to enable all at that point.